Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hi, I'm Tanushree Banerjee, and today I'm going to tell you why one of the most underrated sectors in the stock markets today could turn out to be the breakout sector of 2023. Allow me to take you back a few years. Back in 2008, newspaper vendors enjoyed far more importance than they do today. After all, every morning they would have a crowd around their little shops, either to read or to buy the latest print. But in January 2008, the newspaper vendors turned rock stars. Reason? They were selling the priced application forms for Reliance Power's IPO at a hefty premium. Despite the ridiculous pricing of the forms, on my way to work, I often found long queues waiting to buy forms from the vendors. Mobile SIM card sellers in India enjoyed similar adulation in 2013. With Airtel, Reliance, Tata and Vodafone driving call prices to record lows, customers queued up to buy multiple SIM cards. The telecom operators competed on the premise of value-added services. But the only service that was offering them extra revenue was caller tunes. Goes without saying that both power and telecom bubbles burst in 2008 and 2013 respectively. Companies like Reliance Power, Tata Communication and Reliance Communication became the poster boys of shareholder wealth destruction. For a growing economy, sectors like power and telecom could have been the pillars of growth. Instead, they became the pariahs for investors and policymakers alike. Hence, it's difficult to imagine that the fortunes of these sectors could turn around dramatically a decade later. So much so that power and telecom are now the most sought after opportunities amongst policymakers and investors alike. Power stocks assumed importance with digitisation and the electric vehicle revolution. In fact, a few power stocks have once again enjoyed irrational exuberance in the past year. But telecom stocks are yet to find a place in the sun. There were several critical changes to Indian telecom sector's dynamics in recent times. The relevance of this industry increased significantly after the pandemic. Telecom services became a necessity for all kinds of virtual connections. Deeper penetration of the smartphone acted as a key catalyst and will continue to do so. More importantly, the industry has once again become the focus of policymakers and investors alike. The government reforms have eliminated ambiguity and risks to establish a stable investment environment. Telecom penetration had slowed down with the failing health of key players. But with the launch of 5G, the government plans to make internet services accessible across the country. This includes rural areas where 5G would be a very affordable service in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, before we get into the investing opportunity in the telecom sector overall, let us understand why the success of 5G could make a huge difference. First of all, here are some facts about why India is a compelling opportunity for the telecom players. India has one of the fastest growing telecom sectors in the world with over 1.2 billion subscribers. Currently, the sector contributes around 6% to India's GDP, but this figure could soon go to double digits. The sector has witnessed 150% rise in FDI, foreign direct investment, over the past 5 years. Telecom is no longer an urban story in India, as current rural teledensity stands at 59%, and internet penetration in rural areas is 37%. Also, 172,000 gram panchayats are connected to internet services already. Telecom operators in India supported digital payments worth $3 trillion in 2021, and 40% of all financial transactions are digital. India has had 5.6 lakh kilometers of optical fiber and 82.5 crore internet subscribers by March 2022. The telecom sector also has a critical role in employment generation. The sector alone generates employment for 4 million people. In addition, having the second highest number of internet subscribers globally, the industry supported the growth of online education industry as well as the digital healthcare industry in India, which are each valued at $4 billion and $9 billion respectively in 2022. So, despite being the bedrock of digital transformation, Indian telecom companies have constantly struggled to monetize their investments. Indian operators have had the lowest ARPU, average revenue per user, globally, despite a reasonably high data consumption per SIM connection per month. But just like the charts show, this is the beginning of the data explosion expected in the country once 5G is rolled out and some of the emerging technologies like IoT, AI, AR, VR, etc. become mainstream. These technologies will require a significant amount of network transformation, which will allow it to carry enhanced workloads at a specified speed and latency and make it agile to allow newer services. So, what has really changed? Well, with sweeping financial, structural, and process reforms in 2021, the telecom sector that was once ailed with litigation and financial distress got a fresh lease of life. The reforms have not only revived the financial viability of the sector, but has also significantly increased investor confidence in the sector, which is demonstrated by the increased FDI. The reduced financial burden has allowed telecom companies to increase their capital investment capacities for growth of network and telecom infrastructure. It is broadly expected that by 2025, the data consumption per SIM connection per month will surpass 50 gigabytes. With such high expected data loads, Indian telecom operators have pinned their hope on promise of 5G, which will allow them to bring in enhancement in capacities, efficiencies in their network, increase in ARPU, and at the same time open new realms of revenue streams from the 5G play. Currently, 59.4% of rural areas and 87.3% of the urban areas enjoy telecom connection. But the figure could soon become history because of the following reasons. The production-linked incentive or the PLI schemes for the telecom sector will boost telecom equipment manufacturing. Public Wi-Fi services will be offered nationwide through the public data offices. Nearly 2,400 Wi-Fi hotspots and 100 train stations across 22 states will be free internet zones. By 2025, the government plans to lay optical fibers in all gram panchayats and enable broadband connectivity in every village. In October 2022, the government approved 260 billion rupees to install 25,000 mobile towers over 500 days. With this project, the government aims to do to telecom what it did to banking with Jan Dhan. Last mile internet connectivity could also offer a massive boost to India's startup ecosystem. It's estimated that over the next 5 years, a rise in mobile phone penetration and decline in data costs will add 500 million new internet users in India. This could create opportunities for new businesses from food delivery and e-commerce to online insurance. Not to forget the 5G-centric technologies such as Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, and cloud computing, which would elicit a surge in subscribers and create new investment opportunities. Not surprisingly, India's telecom sector is now projected to receive investments of over $25 billion over the next 2 years. The days of heady IPOs and consumer frenzy may be behind this sector, but Indian telecom sector clearly awaits some interesting times ahead. Now, coming to the companies that would benefit the most from the 5G opportunities in the telecom sector. It is not just the large companies like Bharti Airtel or Reliance or Vodafone or Tata Communications, but even some niche companies that could witness breakout trends over the years once they acquire scale. What kind of companies am I referring to? Telecom infrastructure companies. Industar is an independently managed company offering passive infrastructure services to all telecom operators and other wireless service providers such as broadband service providers. It is the largest mobile tower maker in India with a tower market share of 31%. It makes mobile towers for the Indian telecom giants like Airtel, Reliance, Jio, and Vodafone Idea. Recently, a joint venture was announced between Industars and Dixon Technologies for making telecom and network products. You also have telecom equipment companies. Despite the disruptions caused by the pandemic, equipment makers have continued to invest in manufacturing and network development. Further, both domestic and global companies are set to benefit from the non-participation of Chinese majors, Huawei and ZTE, in the 5G trials. Ericsson and other global equipment giants aren't the only ones in the game. Even domestic players have risen to the challenge and are now actively pursuing partnerships while also enhancing their technical skills. So here you have Tech Mahindra, Sterlite Technologies, Tejas Networks, ITI Limited. Tata Sons subsidiary Pantone in Finvest in fact acquired controlling stake in Tejas Network in April 2022, and this has toughened the competition amongst the players. Like I pointed out earlier, the sector has suffered very low pricing power by way of ARPUs, poor cash flows, high debt, and regulatory uncertainties in the past. So, before you decide to invest in telecom stocks to ride the mega trend, keep few things in mind. It's crucial to be very selective about the telecom stocks to buy in terms of their financial health. The business must inherently have solid long-term strategy. You should be patient to see the strategy play out over several years, possibly decades. The company's cash flows should not depend on excess leverage. And most importantly, the management must have a track record of creating wealth for minority shareholders. Do check out the health of your favorite 5G telecom stocks on the free Equity Master screener. Here, apart from getting access to ready-made watch lists following various themes, you could also create your own watch list to profit from 5G telecom like megatrends. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.